What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're gonna be talking about Nemesis. We do know he is coming here very soon. We know the patch is dropping soon. In fact, we even have the message now in game saying that we'll be undergoing maintenance, and they dropped a letter a few days ago saying that we'll be looking out for Nemesis here very soon. So you can very easily guess that when the patch goes live, Nemesis will be the first character available and offers and everything. So I'm going to drop this right as we go into maintenance mode, maybe an hour or two later. It's not going to take long for a patch usually. So I'm going to drop this around maintenance time. That way people have this to refer to as they go live. And if they start buying offers, they want to buy offers, consider what to go for as ISOs and T4s. We're going to talk about all that in today's video. But also talk about why I think that this is the most important character in this patch outside of Archangel. We're going to talk about that, especially when it comes to the Death Scourge for Nemesis, for Archangel to unlock him. Nemesis, I think, is going to be very, very important in some of those nodes. So we're going to break that all down in today's video. If you guys do enjoy this video, you found it helpful or informative, make sure that like button, share, and subscribe, and let's dive right into it. So let's start by talking about Nemesis. Just kind of go over what makes him so important for the Death Seed team. Is that, number one, his passive will give a huge damage boost here, lowering armor by 30% for all enemies with bleed, and then in raids on spawn apply defense up for 2 turns itself on all Death Seed allies. And when this character or Death Seed ally draws slowly 50% max health, fill speed bar for this character by 30% and gain speed up. Like, that passive right there, very, very important. But also, there is a huge amount of health steal in his kit. Also, some pretty short cooldowns. His bioenergy eruption will steal 10% health from the primary and adjacent targets each, and will transfer to his whole team. His plasma meltdown ultimate is a 5-turn ability. Steal health from all targets, applies trauma for 2 turns inside of raids, applies the slow and bleed on his ultimate, and that also ties into here with his passive, where it lowers armor by 30% for enemies with bleed. So plasma plus his passive, that's all pretty big. This guy is going to have a lot of health steal, and that's going to tie into what we want for his T4. So we're going to talk about those first. There's 3 T4s I highly recommend you get for him. In order, they're going to be passive, special, and then ultimate. His basic is nice window dressing, but you know, that's kind of that's really one you come back and do later if you want to invest in it. His passive right now, 15% bonus damage for himself and Death Seed allies. That's huge. You're really going to want that. That's really also going to help with Archangel. Archangel's kind of the damage dealer of this team. The rest of the team is more for control. Psylocke does have some nice damage, but it's nothing compared to what Archangel brings to the team. That's why you really want this damage. Archangel is going to tear apart the enemy team, so that damage boost is huge here. Talking about his ultimate next. His ultimate will apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies for inside of raids. It goes from 1 turn to 2 turns, and this is pretty big because that means 2 turns now where the enemy cannot cleanse things off of them. So when you have like an Emma Frost on the enemy team, you have trauma. Well, now they can't get rid of it. So Emma can do all she wants. She's never going to be able to cleanse those as long as they have trauma. So that's why I really like this trauma for 2 turns here. Not as important as the special. Special's going to be a little more important. But 100% more damage to all enemies here, which is big. But that 2-turn trauma is huge. And also, it should be noted, the basic for Magneto, it will extend negative effects on the enemy targets. That will also apply to trauma, stun, and like ability block. So trauma on a target, you then have Magneto hit them with his basic or his ISO attack, it will then extend as well. So that's all pretty good there with that ultimate. But this special, simply because of that 5% health steal from each additional target, that's just so big. That's why I like the special a little bit more than the ultimate. I mean, you're gonna go for all 3 on him anyways, but I feel like that additional health steal is more important because when we talk to the developers about Nemesis, we ask questions about the sustainability of this team and how reliant we are on the health steal for Nemesis. What we're told from the developers is that a fully built Nemesis will be 90 to 95% of the sustain of your team. Like, you don't he will be able to help kind of keep your team topped off. So it's very important to make sure you maximize his health steal abilities and his opportunities, and that's why I like this special T4. And for Archangel, for instance, his passive, where someone on your team scores a critical hit, he heals the Death Seed team for 3% of his max health. They basically said, and this was their exact words, that's like icing on the cake. So you're not relying on the heal from Archangel, you're relying much more on the health steal from Nemesis to keep that Death Seed team topped off and keep them going. So that's why I have this as the second T4 over the ultimate. And then, yeah, so passive, special, ultimate. And then you come back to his basic. And this kind of ties into the ISO as well. He's a very good striker. Just because he's stealing 5% max health from the primary target, he won't hit adjacents with his ISO attack. But, still, that's 5% max health. And that's why you're probably going to want to run striker on him. We can talk about Raider as well because of Archangel, but this T4 is just 60% bonus damage to primary and secondary targets. You don't really need to worry about that. So this is one you come back for later once you have a lot of the other T4s built on Death Seed. This is one you don't need right away, but if you are running striker, I can definitely see why this is going to have a lot more appeal on it. But yeah, that's kind of where we are with the T4s. And let's go back to the ISO here, because that I think is very, very important. You have a lot of health steal here with this character. And I said already, like, he's going to be your main source of healing for the Death Seed team. But also, if you want to run Striker, if you want to run Raider versus Striker, I'm not going to argue either way. I prefer Striker because of the health steal on his basic there. But also, I think the math comes out a little bit better. I have to look at the health stats for Archangel, figure how it's all going to play out. But I think you may actually want to have a good case for Raider here on Nemesis as well, because again, the passive with Archangel, where you are healing the team for 3% of his max health when someone on your team scores a critical hit. You can't do multiple critical hits and have that stack. So like, if you do like 3 critical hits on an enemy character on the enemy team, that's not going to be 9% of Archangel's health. That's still just going to be a flat 3%. I asked about that; it does not stack. I was hoping it would, but it doesn't. But the thing is, here you have this health steal, and then you redistribute. But if you score a critical hit, and all of those attacks are multi-hit, if you score a critical hit at the same time, well, now you're also getting some healing from Archangel's passive. And yeah, I think Striker is going to be a strong choice because of the health steal on the primary target, but Raider, I cannot argue against Raider for him. You're going to go Raider or Striker on this character, and it's also going to kind of depend on if you are using him with Archangel or not. If you're not using him with Archangel, like if you're using him for the Scourge, Striker's going to be better, but when you're inside of raids with Archangel, I could see Raider pulling ahead of Striker. There, you can't really go wrong with either option here. And yeah, there's really nothing else to say there with the ISO. Like, there's really no need to go for any of the other options on this team or on this character for ISO. Like, healer's not gonna really do much because health steal isn't affected by healing. So yeah, Striker, ISO, or Striker or Raider, those are gonna be your 2 choices based on how you use him. And this is gonna kind of go into our next round of what we're talking about here, and that is gonna be what you're using him, like why I think he's one of the most important characters of this patch. Like, outside of Archangel, he is the most important character because of what he's going to bring to the table for the Death Scourge to unlock Archangel. And if you go back and actually look at his kit, go back here, you notice all of his health steal redistributes to self and to all allies. Like, on his Bioenergy Eruption, it's all allies. On his Plasma Meltdown, self and all allies. Like, that's pretty good stuff right there. Now, his basic will redistribute to self and all Death Seed allies, but these 2 abilities here, that's a lot of health steal, that's a lot of redistributing to your team. That's huge, but also, like, his Plasma Meltdown applies slow for 2 turns and 2 bleed to all enemies. Well, now you're also getting this lower armor by 30% for all enemies with bleed with that. Your transparent all positive effects, yada yada, that doesn't work because you're not having Archangel there, but spread all positive effects on self to all known summoned Death Seed allies. You're gonna have a weird, hybrid team here, and you can't For the Death Scourge, you have these nodes where you have to use non-legendary mutants. And that's a problem because a lot of your mutant teams are built around legendaries. Weapon X is built around Omega Red. Rogue is the linchpin of your Unlimited X-Men team. Jubilee is a linchpin of your Astonishing X-Men team. Uncanny X-Men with Phoenix. Magneto with Deathseed and Brotherhood. And Archangel with Deathseed. There's a lot of mutant teams, but they are very much reliant on, well, not all of them, because we have Marauders, but a lot of your mutant teams are reliant on some sort of legendary character on the team. So when you take that away, Astonishing X-Men don't work too well. Uncanny X-Men, we definitely know, do not work too well without Phoenix. Marauders is going to be a solid choice for the Death Scourge, because you have a lot of sustain between Mr. Sinister. You have the cleansing and blinding and the control with Emma Frost. Malin Pryor is going to have some nice synergies with them as well, but also Strife, a nice tank for your team as well. So Marauders looks like a solid team to use in one of the non-legendary mutant nodes. But then you go back to some other teams, and like this is where like Deathseed comes together with some other characters. Like Nemesis is support. You have Psylocke, who's both Uncanny and Deathseed. Dark Beast he's not too bad. He's gonna be an interesting one to see play out, because there's a lot of raid stuff with him. So I don't know exactly how important he will be. Like reviving a dead Deathseed ally, that could be very important inside the Scourge. But he does get to assist. Let's see, yeah, assist per Deathseed ally. You will be short at least one Deathseed because Magneto is legendary, so you can't use Magneto with Deathseed, which is gonna really suck. But there's a lot of raid stuff within Dark Beast's kit. But Beast here, I really like our regular Beast because the mutant enhancement with Nemesis applies speed up and drain ability energy for self and all support allies. Nemesis is support. So you get speed up, you get ability energy with this, which means you get to use this Plasma Meltdown. You get to use a Bioenergy Eruption a bit more often. That's not bad. Between Nemesis and Beast, I could see quite a bit of healing and sustainability with your team. Like this I think is going to be pretty good. So, you know, even if you get heal block on your team, you have the Hellsteel from Nemesis to kind of tie things together. That is why I think like a sort of like hybrid Deathseed X-Men team somewhere is going to be really good. Like, I don't know, Psylocke, Nemesis, Beast, Gambit, and bring in like one other character maybe. I don't quite know, but there's a good case for like a solid non-legendary mutant team with Nemesis and Beast being your sustain, and then you bring in characters like Gambit and someone else to bring damage. Like Psylocke has some nice damage, and you're gonna have 30% damage for her as well because of Nemesis being on the team. So Nemesis, even outside of raids, just to unlock Scourge, just to unlock Archangel, is gonna be huge. This is why I'm very high on him, and I think that he's second most important character in this patch. But that's going to kind of tie it up for me here. We've talked about the ISO, the T4s, and, you know, great healer for Deathseed, and a great character to help you unlock Archangel to make that Deathseed team a reality for you. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas, make sure to drop them down below. Again, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.